In this video, we're looking at the relatively new Savage 110 Tactical in the wildly popular 6.5 PRC. Is the Savage 110 Tactical for you? And is it more tactical or tactical? Let's take a look. Impact, first round. Historically, Savage has been known to produce an accurate shooting rifle. However, they were generally positioned with gun owners as a cheaper Remington alternative. Now, however, with Remington going through its series of crises, Savage is working hard to become the go-to recommendation. The company offers a wide catalog of models and is not afraid of putting their actions into third-party chassis and stocks, not something that can be said for every manufacturer. Savage is also one of the first to jump onto new calibers, for better or for worse. And this is why I'm excited to hopefully very soon get a Savage chambered in Hornady's new 6mm ARC. We are not, however, here to discuss 6mm ARC, but perhaps probably my most widely covered cartridge, the 6.5 PRC, also from Hornady. In this video, we're going to take a look at the 110 Tactical, we're going to take a look at its features, we're going to get some shooting footage as it's downrange, and get some first impressions, and then we'll be back here for the initial bottom line. If you would like to skip to a certain section or want to rewatch a particular section, there's a timeline in the description below. And if you're new to the 6.5 PRC cartridge and want to learn about it and the various firearms recovered in 6.5 PRC, please find the playlist linked above. And the moment you learn something new or find yourself enjoying the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, that's this way, and share the video down below. Okay, let's get into it. If you're looking for a firearm chambered in 6.5 PRC, Savage currently has this many of them, that's 9 of them, ranging from an MSRP of around $600 up to $1,500 for the lightweight hunting firearms. Unfortunately, I do not see a 110 Precision or a 110 Elite Precision yet. Also missing is the 6.5 PRC and the cheaper Savage lines to compete more effectively with offerings such as those from Ruger, Howa, and Mossberg. What we have here is the Tactical line, which has an MSRP of around $830 and is available in both black and a flat dark earth tone under the 110 Tactical Desert variant. At the core of the firearm, we have the Savage 110 Action. And while the 110 has historically been a long-only action model, they now have the 110 for both long and short actions. The action is going to be fairly smooth from a factory gun, and it features a push-feed action with a 2-lug bolt, offering the typical 90-degree bolt throw. This is the first Savage that I've owned, and it's quite nice to see a tang-mounted safety with 3 positions. So pushed all the way forward, the gun is hot. 1 position back, the gun is safe and you can still open the bolt. And all the way towards you, the gun is safe and the bolt is locked. The 110 Tactical comes with this oversized bolt knob, and it is a little bit extended as well. It's definitely nicely textured to let you get a good grip on the bolt knob as well. The bolt handle is not threaded, however, so if you want to use a different bolt knob, you have to replace the bolt handle with a threaded one, such as the new one from Anarchy Outdoors. There's a link in the description, and Squad Squad members do get an exclusive discount to all the products from Anarchy Outdoors. Now, one of the features that makes the 110 Tactical the 110 Tactical is the inclusion of a 20 MOA scope base by EGW. As people start shooting and hunting at longer distances, you want to be able to get as much as you can out of the scope. A canted mount such as this one will let you get an additional 20 minutes of angle to what you can get out of your scope as it is. Now, the other things that make the 110 Tactical is going to be the barrel. For this model, Savage puts on their heavier target profile barrels. The 6.5 PRC model uses a 24-inch barrel that'll help extract the most velocity possible out of the cartridge without going completely crazy in barrel size. The barrel is fluted towards the front 2/3, which does help save a little bit of weight while aiding in the barrel cooling. And before somebody asks how does it do that, by doing the scallops, you're increasing the surface area so heat can dissipate a little bit quicker. Now, at the front of the gun, you will find the thread protector covering the 5/8 by 24 threaded muzzle. And that's going to allow you to thread on a suppressor or a muzzle brake of your choice. Do note the gun does not come with a muzzle brake. Now, the barrel is rifled with a 1 1/8-inch twist rate, which is the standard for this caliber. The barrel is completely free-floated all the way up to the recoil lug and sits in Savage's AICS stock, or more specifically, it's the Savage stock that features both the AICS stock and AICS fit technology. So let's start with the AICS stock. The AICS stock is what Savage calls their bedding rails hidden inside the stock. Ordinarily, a rifle's action is secured to the stock with just 2 or 3 bolts. With this, there's room for stocks to warp a bit and for the action to move ever so slightly from shot to shot, especially as the gun heats up. To combat this, custom gunsmiths do a number of things, such as putting metal pillars between the stock, the action, and the bottom metal, and creating a smooth, rigid surface to meet the stock and the action, which is also known as bedding. What Savage did with the AICS stock was to combine a stock and a chassis. Savage puts an aluminum rail along the bottom of the chassis to which the barreled action attaches, and this provides a solid surface for the two to mate. This also has a second benefit of adding weight, which reduces the felt recoil. Moving back, you have the AICS fit. AICS fit is Savage's name for their length of pull and comb height system. Modular stocks and chassis are all the rage now and are expected, particularly with the proliferation of dynamic shooting sports such as PRS and factory guns available in both chassis and modular stocks. With the AICS fit, you have 5 different comb heights and 3 or 4 additional length of pull spacers, which you can swap out to get a custom fit for you. To swap them out, you have to remove the 2 Phillips head screws that are inside the buttstock. You change out the pieces and then you put them back. Now, do note, if you're also changing the length of pull, you have to swap out the screws to the longer or shorter ones depending on which length you go with, but the rifle does come with all of them. On this gun, I swapped out the comb height riser to a bigger one to accommodate my smaller face and my preference to get a higher cheek hold on the gun. On the stock, you do have this very nice rubber recoil pad, which will also help with managing the recoil. On the front, you do have 2 swivel studs with an additional swivel stud on the back, and this way you can attach a swivel stud bipod on the front and still have 2 studs available to mount for a sling. Do note, I have my FAB spike bipod attached here on the front swivel stud to a Picatinny adapter, and Savage does not come with any adapters or rail pieces out of the box. Moving on, the trigger. The Savage 110 Tactical uses the company's AICS trigger. The AICS trigger is a bladed style trigger similar to what you find across many rifles today, such as the Ruger Americans, the Ruger Precision Rifles, and the Mossberg Patriots, and I'm sure I'm missing a couple of others. It features a user adjustable trigger that many people are able to adjust down to as little as 1 pound. The trigger blade is there to serve as a safety, especially needed on the Savage as there's very little holding the sear in place just due to the design. With the trigger adjusted to a light trigger pull, it's fairly easy to cause the sear to trip, and that's when the trigger blade would catch it and prevent a negligent discharge. Lastly, the 110 Tactical is the first model of the 110 price-wise, where you can get a detachable box magazine and more specifically the ability to use AICS pattern magazines. These are generally available in standard and long AICS, and the 6.5 PRC uses the standard AICS pattern magazines, although the front spacer is removed. What is really nice is that Savage 110 Tactical and 6.5 PRC comes with an 8-round magazine made by Accurate Mag, and these have been, in my opinion, the best AICS pattern magazines for the 6.5 PRC. Now, as I stated earlier, the 110 Tactical is available in 2 colors. The 110 Tactical Desert comes with a tan stock and has an MSRP of $815. And this is the 110 Tactical, which comes with the gray and black stock and has an MSRP of $830. On this rifle, I do have the Arkin SH4 Gen 2 6-24 rifle scope mounted using the Arkin scope rings, and you can find a link for this rifle scope, well, rifle and scope, linked above. Okay, let's put some rounds down range and then we'll get back here. So from what I remember, it's about 2 mils. Let's go 2 mils high. Impact, first round. Yeah, I missed that one, but velocity is basically the same. I don't remember where the other one was. Let's go a little higher. Did not see. Okay. So 2 was hitting. Okay, so I think we got these whole. Wow, so these velocities are pretty damn consistent. .2841. I take that back. Okay, so here's what I can tell you. So I'm shooting this without a muzzle brake. This is infinitely more comfortable and less recoily to shoot without a brake than the Mossberg was when it was stock. Actually, I don't remember shooting the Rugers without a muzzle brake. The stock is completely... The stock is completely... It's more of a hunting stock than it is a... I mean, it's tactical. I'm not going to call it tactical, or it could be tactical, but it's not a precision stock. I do wish it was a little bit more upright. Bolt handle, great size, a little too aggressive. Especially right now, it's still cold. And... still cold, and it's a little rough without gloves on. But I guess all the tactical operator types would be wearing gloves now, wouldn't they? There we go, 2804. Nice! Bottom line, this is the first Savage that I've owned, and I really like the platform, and the 110 Tactical is a pretty good introduction to the brand. The gun is certainly showing proof of accuracy, and while doing some load development, it has certainly showed to be capable of sub-MOA accuracy. Unfortunately, with the ammo crunch, I do not have that much factory 6.5 PRC. However, getting sub-MOA groups during load development is a very, very good sign. I'm also a fan of the action and how smooth it is for a factory action, and I'm fairly impressed with the aluminum bedding block inside the stock. I'm also quite happy with the AICS bottom metal and the accurate magazine that Savage includes for the price of the 6.5 PRC guns, not something you generally find. Most of all, for some people, I suppose that the Savage 110 Tactical just looks cool. And for me, that's kind of what bothers me. The 110 Tactical is more tactical than tactical, or I guess more specifically, practical for precision shooting. The trigger is okay, but I'm not a fan of the bladed triggers. In this case, however, the bladed trigger is a must-have in order to keep the gun drop safe due to the design of the sear engagement. Fortunately, there are some aftermarket alternatives. For the price, I do think Savage should have included some sort of a muzzle brake, although I do understand people who take shooting seriously will probably have their own preference. When looking at the competition, something like the Ruger American Predator, the Ruger does include a muzzle brake at an MSRP of $799, and so does Howa, well, Legacy Sports. With the Howas that they import, most of them at that price range will have a brake as well, and sometimes even a cheapy scope. Now, personally, I'm going to put a brake on here from Patriot Valley Arms in line with what I have on my other 6.5 PRC guns, which have shown to be awesome at reducing recoil. Now, next, the bolt handle. While the bolt handle and the bolt knob are certainly cool, combined with the 90-degree bolt throw, as you can see here, it's going to get tight, and it's going to come quite close to hitting the scope, or more specifically the throw handle, if you're using one on the lowest magnification. Unfortunately, while the bolt knob is nice and chunky, just the way I kind of prefer it, it's also not threaded. Now, there is, however, an aftermarket solution from Anarchy Outdoors, and I'll be looking into that very, very soon. For now, what you would have to be cautious about is if you have the scope and lowest magnification and you're using one of these throw levers, or even if you're not, if you have a over-the-top hold, you're going to be hitting. So you have to hold along the bottom, or let's say, for example, you're going to push it back that way with the top of your thumb. The other thing you're going to have to do is move the throw lever a little bit more. Now, the only thing that you're going to run into is that if you're doing it this way, on max magnification, the bolt knob is almost to the bottom and it might not be as comfortable. Okay, and enough about the bolt handle. That leads us basically to the stock. Well, more specifically, the AccuFit system. I really like the Accu stock. Savage's marketing pieces all call this an adjustable stock where you can adjust both the length of pull and comb height, both things that are critical to have repeatable results at the range. I have no problem with that. The AccuFit is absolutely customizable and it feels very solid once you select the right adjustment inserts. I would, however, completely steer away from calling it adjustable, and most certainly not quote-unquote, as they put in their marketing pieces, let shooters quickly adjust comb height and length of pull, as it says in the 110 promo video. If you can find a Phillips head screwdriver, find the screws hidden within the recoil pad. Remove the screws, find the right cheek riser and length of pull inserts, and the appropriate length screws. Within 10 minutes, I will give you a medal. Now, customizable, yes, but this is a set it and forget it proposition. No one in their right minds is going to change this out at the range for a different shooter or a different shooting position. Say you're going from prone to behind the bench or even standing while shooting. I only bring this up because this is marketed as a tactical model and not a hunting rifle. AccuFit is totally AccuCool, but not tactical or practical for field or range use. Lastly, and once again, only because this is the tactical model, is the grip angle here. The stock's angle is more conducive for hunting or shooting upright than tactical where you're shooting from behind the bench or prone. This grip angle here is too much for you to get an ideal shooting grip, which will allow you to pull the trigger back in a more straight back fashion. Most every precision shooting stock is going to have an upright grip, be it as it's cut into the wood or an aftermarket grip. And this leads me to the bottom line. I really like the action, and I'm a big fan of how well the gun shoots. I think the Savage 110 Tactical looks super cool and would make an awesome hunting gun. But if you're purchasing this for long-range shooting and are likely to spend more time behind the bench or on your belly prone than you are shooting standing, then you will want to take some money and really make this gun shine. In the next video on this gun, we're going to take a look at a number of those options and accessories that will make this action shine. So that's my initial take and first impressions with the Savage 110 Tactical rifle chambered in 6.5 PRC. Now go ahead and take a look at the entire playlist of 6.5 PRC linked down here if you're new to the caliber and you want to see what other 6.5 PRC firearms we've covered. I appreciate you watching, and if you learned something new, please make sure to click the like button and share the video with your friends, and make sure you're subscribed and you have the notification bell on to receive up-to-date notifications on our latest videos, including the follow-up to this gun, our ongoing precision rifle series, and more. You don't want to miss what's coming up next. And if you enjoy this content and you want to see more content and want to help keep it going, please join the Squad Squad, our YouTube channel membership. You'll have a direct say in what content is coming up, a direct line to me, some cool swag, and discounts to a number of vendors featured in this video. You can find more information by clicking on the Join button down below. As always, I want to thank you for watching, keep on squatting, and I'll see you in the next video.